There's a good chance you already have the basics, but there's some stuff you can do to take your console gaming setup to the next level. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, the 10 best things to buy for the perfect console gaming setup in 2018. Just as a quick little disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video, these aren't a brand deal. We have links to all of these in the description below, in case you want to check them out further and maybe pick them up. Number 10, that big TV looks cool. It's nice that big TVs have gone down so much in price over the last decade, but you know what looks cooler? If it's lit like it's in a damn spaceship. That's why it's an interesting idea to pick up some LED strips and experiment with what they might look like behind your TV, because I've seen some pretty cool designs. As for choices, you have stuff from Nexlux. They have a pretty good LED strip. It's a little more basic than the Phillips Hue smart light strips, which are part of their overall sort of personal colored lighting, actually very genuinely cool situation. Number 9 is controller grips, or more specifically thumbstick grips. Especially for people who play games that require a lot of movement on the thumbsticks, like a first-person shooter or something like that, or even just small, nuanced movements these can help with as well. Some good ideas for that are the KontrolFreek Ultra Thumb grips, basically the thumb grips in a lot of people's eyes. That's not to say there aren't some alternate ideas that work out pretty well. The grip at stick covers, for instance, aren't quite the same thing. They're a little bit smaller, they extend less. Along the same lines are the Bionik Quickshots for the Xbox One controller, which are basically switches that limit exactly how far you're able to pull the triggers, which can change the amount of time it takes to pull the trigger. It definitely brings a layer of nuance to the game, and also just from a grip perspective, they're better than the normal one. That's really the point of grips. And they all definitely make controllers work a little bit better regarding the specific point where you actually hold it. Number 8, a Pro controller is obviously quite important. For the Xbox is the Xbox One Elite controller, which obviously gives you a lot more options compared to the regular, even down to being able to swap out several of the components, as well as having paddles on the back, and the ability to utterly customize the controls down to the button using their app. As a sort of third-party competition, there is a Razer controller for the Xbox, which is actually quite good as well. It features the chroma lighting too, which is hard to resist. And actually on the other side of the console pond, the PlayStation 4 has a USB Type-C controller that helps eliminate all the lag that you might get from being connected via Bluetooth, while giving you a more familiar grip that might remind you a little bit more of an Xbox controller. For some people, that's just an imperative thing. They all come in between $120 and $150. They're all very high quality, and I would have to imagine that for people who take it particularly seriously, one of these is going to be worth considering. Number 7, getting a cool headset is pretty necessary for a perfect console gaming setup. The Astro A50 is a pretty good wireless set that doesn't sacrifice any of the audio quality while still giving you a nice, flexible, comfortable feel. If you're looking for basically the same thing, but more PlayStation oriented, the SteelSeries Arctis 7 brings more or less the same feature set and is really well regarded, winning a number of best gaming headset awards from various publications. Now, if you're on PlayStation and you're looking for something a little bit cheaper, but still pretty good, check out the PlayStation Gold wireless headset, which really does a great job considering it is a noise canceling headset as well. And it's also got a hidden mic that noise cancels, so it's got pretty decent audio quality from that perspective as well. Number 6 is charging docks. You got controllers, you're gonna want charging docks. I know that it might seem like it's not necessarily the most important thing in the world, but let me tell you that since I've put charging docks in for my controllers, when I'm done playing the game, I just have made a habit of putting it down on the charging dock, and my controllers are never out of batteries. The one we're recommending for the Xbox One is the PowerA charging station. It's pretty straightforward, and what we're recommending for the PlayStation 4 is the BEBONCOOL PlayStation controller charger, which has a nice LED indicator as to how far along the charging is, which is definitely nice. Both of these we recommend because they're very easy to get two controllers on without making any sort of friction or conflict between the two, and in my opinion that's really the key for this being a good purchase. You just want a place to put the controller down and not think about it. Number 5, if you're going to be buying some headphones of any kind, you're going to want a headphone stand, and we've got a few that range from very simple to actually pretty useful outside of holding headphones. The first is the Qadira wooden headphone stand, which looks very simple, and I wouldn't want to represent it as anything other than that. It's a piece of wood that has been shaped in a manner that makes it perfect for putting headphones on, and it's very nice, very useful, and very aesthetic. But it depends on what look you're going for. If you are going for a more cyberpunk or technological-oriented look, the Corsair Gaming ST100 RGB Premium headset stand is probably the way to go. It's got 9 zones of dynamic RGB lighting that go underneath your headphones and just generally look very cool. Now, if you're thinking, I don't need a headset stand, I need it to do something else, it seems like a waste of money just to have a thing that holds my headphones. They do have that. This does exist in the form of the wireless charging Newbie headphone stand. Essentially, it's a headphone stand that the base of works as a wireless charger for all of the newer style phones that have that capability, meaning the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus and all of the contemporary Android phones. Quite useful, honestly. Number 4, you're going to want what we're calling an unnecessarily large hard drive, but I think we're saying that for effect, as hard drives kind of have to be really big now. A nice 4 terabyte Western Digital Passport drive is actually not so bad as far as how much it costs at $99.98, considering it is a USB 3.0 drive, and that means the data moves nice and quickly. On that same token, Seagate does one that's 4 terabyte, same price, also USB 3.0, so also nice and fast. I'm thinking the next time around we'll probably see more of the USB-C, but at $99 we're really looking more at USB 3, and $99 is a great price for a 4 terabyte hard drive. Number 3 is the upgraded console. That means the PS4 Pro or the Xbox One X. Essentially, these bring 4K into your living room, as well as a lot more processing power, a little more RAM, just generally stuff that makes the games run better. It was, I think, a shrewd move of both companies to put out a semi-extension on this generation on account I don't think anybody really wanted new consoles in 2019. I think we wanted to go a little bit longer before we had a total turnover of the platforms. However, some people do think that if we're not 4K gaming, then we're not doing anything worthwhile, and I get it. 4K looks awesome. Number 2 is an over-the-top chair with built-in speakers and all of that stuff that you would think, I don't need that, and then you've got it and you're like, I needed this, actually. First, we're going to quickly look at the DX Racer Formula series. In some ways, it looks a bit like a average, normal, everyday office chair, but if you sit in it, you know that that's definitely not the case. It's more oriented towards racing, and it's easy to see why. It kind of does look like a seat from a car. Whereas the FICMAX ergonomic gaming chair does bring a bit of that racing style, but at the same time, I think that this is basically any person's best computer chair. It's got all of the back support for exactly where you need it. It's adjustable, and it actually has electric massage built in that can be connected to via USB. And finally, number 1, a nice 4K HDR TV. And good HDR is actually almost more important than 4K. First off is an LG OLED TV. It's a 55-inch 4K Ultra HD, and it includes a technology they call Think, which is an artificial intelligence. I'm gonna go ahead and say this means it's got the Google Assistant in it, and for a TV, that is actually fairly smart. Next is a Samsung Premium 55-inch 4K, which is actually a lot cheaper, but we're also talking about a more standard television without any of these extra features. And finally, for a 4K HDR TV that doesn't break the bank, the $649 TCL 55R617 is another 55-inch. You can get it in a bigger size, but at $649, 55-inch for a 4K HDR television is actually amazing. And the picture quality on these is great. Do you use any of these products in your setup? Especially the Phillips LED lighting, that stuff is awesome. Leave us a comment, tell us what you do. Don't be afraid to brag a little bit, it's fine. This is kind of the side of gaming that we're talking about right now anyhow. If you like this video, click like. If you want to see our new videos, which we upload daily, click the subscribe button, and do not forget to click the alarm bell. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at FalconTheHero. We'll see you next time, right here on gameranx.